Hey, Matt here again. This is the weekend. It's time for a video. Did a few videos this week because I had the whole week off. And I'm going to do a few more next week because I've got next week off as well. So enjoying my summer of 2025. Our fearless leader just bombed Iran. So, that's put a damper on everything. But I'm going to try to keep the positive vibes going today with a video on our favorite post-mods of the punk scene in the late 70s, early 80s, the Jam. Now, I used to think back in the day, back in the 80s, that the Jam were the greatest British band never to have had a hit in the States. I don't know, whether I think in those broad categories anymore, but that's as good of a pick for best British band never to have hit big in the States as I can think of. I like the Jam better than Oasis, and I liked Oasis fine in the 90s. I'll do an Oasis video and a Nirvana video and Pearl Jam. I just haven't gotten to the 90s yet. Although the Nirvana itch is kind of there. So, my phone looks like it's a little tilted. All right. So anyways, what I'm going to be using today for the Jam, this is how I have their catalog, their studio catalog, because Dig the New Breed, the live album from '82, is not on here. This is how I have the catalog. This is 5 discs. It's all the albums remastered. It says it's got all the singles as well, but it does not have all the 45 mixes. So I'll be showing you the 45s. I like when I do punk bands, and for all intents and purposes, we'll call the Jam a punk band. I like to show you the 45s when I have them because I think punk was really a singles, genre. Jam had great albums though, so the Jam were kind of like Creedence Clearwater Revival, to pick another band I've done a video of this month, where they had great albums, but they are still kind of perceived to be a singles band. So anyways, having all of this on these 5 CDs, which in this box set, this little booklet does not bother to reproduce the album covers, and the CDs look like this. So what I started to do, well, I started this a long time ago, but what I started to do recently with the Chuck Berry video, whenever I don't have the album covers and I've got a big box set which just has all of the albums without reproducing the LP covers, I'm just going to Xerox them off from Discogs and put them onto CDRs. Not CDRs because I don't have the CDs because the CDs are in that box set, but I'm just going to show you the album covers, all right? Makes it easier to have something to point to play. So, 1977, In the City. This is a good album. They did 2 albums that year. And also, a practice I picked up recently, I'm going to start looking at my computer more because that way I don't got to strain to read this stuff. So, In the City, there you are, May 1977. Really good album, but they would make better ones. All the songs are by Paul Weller, except when I tell you. Art School, I've Changed My Address, Slow Down, the Larry Williams tune, that the Beatles had already covered a long time before this. I Got By in Time, Away from the Numbers, one of his great early tunes. The Batman theme, which did the Who? No, Jan and Dean, I think, did the Batman theme. Someone did the Batman theme in the 60s. In the City, the single. Sounds from the Street, Non-Stop Dancing. Time for Truth, Taking My Love. It's a good one. And Bricks and Mortar, which I like too. In the City, one of the great punk albums of 1977. All right. Then that same year, in 77, This Is the Modern World. Not quite as good, but still, pretty banging. I mean, there's really good stuff on here. It's just in their little, scant 6 studio LP catalog. This is the Modern World and The Gift get short shrift. All right. Same as the first one. All songs by Paul Weller, except, when I tell you. The Modern World, a single classic jam, just like In the City was. London Traffic, that's a Bruce Foxton number. Bruce Foxton kind of functioned as, John Entwistle to Paul's Pete Townsend. Standards, Life from a Window, that's a good one. The Combine, Don't Tell Them, another Bruce Foxton tune. He gets 2 on side 1. Don't Tell Them You're Sane. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Bruce Foxton number. In the Street, Today, that's by Paul Weller and Dave Waller. London Girl, I Need You for Someone, Here Comes the Weekend, Tonight at Noon, and then the Wilson Pickett number, In the Midnight Hours. So not as many, great or even good songs as In the City, but it's not bad. I guess the Ramones had a bigger 1-2 punch that year in '77 with their Leave Home and Rocket to Russia. But these albums are still pretty good, especially In the City. All right. Okay, 1978, one of their masterpieces. Now, I have the Mobile Fidelity gold disc twofer of all mod cons and sound effects, but couldn't find it, so I just printed this out for you guys this morning. All Mod Cons, All Modern Conveniences is one of their great albums. It's their first, probably what you would call a classic. All right, that was the back of the original 1978 LP. Let's get to those songs. There you are, Polydor. Okay, All Mod Cons. To Be Someone, Didn't We Have a Nice Time? That's a great one. Mr. Clean, great. The Kinks number, David Watts. English Rose, another. In the Crowd, that's a classic side 1. I haven't played this album in a while. It puts me in the mood to play it. Billy Hunt, that was on the UK and the first US pressing. On the US reissues, we got the Butterfly Collector. All right. It's Too Bad, Fly, The Place I Love, A Bomb in Water Street, and then Down in the Tube Station at Midnight. Wow, what a great 1-2 punch to end the album. This is a classic. All Mod Cons. Yeah. I think this is the first jam album I ever heard, but I could be wrong. It's going by such a long time ago. I remember in 1980, I moved up to Stockton, California, in Northern California, because my dad, who was in the Navy, was stationed there. Later on, he made captain, and he got us stationed back down in San Diego, where we had come from. And a friend of mine sent me, I guess I would have been 15. I turned 15 in March of 1980. A tape, a cassette of, what was coming out of England. He was a San Diegan, but, he had his ear more to the ground and what was happening in punk and, coming out of London than I did at the time. And he sent me a bunch of jam songs. And I remember he was trying to turn me onto them by comparing them to The Who, and talking about the mods. But I liked them right away. And I guess that was the first time I had ever heard them, which means I went through the decade of the 70s not being aware of the jam, or at least not hearing their music. When I was a kid, folks, there weren't stations that would play this kind of music, punk music coming out of London, or even the Ramones or Patti Smith. I don't know, probably collegiate radio stations would have played that, but I was only, listening to standard FM rock stations. And so, those narrow-minded DJs and program directors, my ability to absorb this music was delayed for years. I didn't hear my first Clash album till I was a senior in high school. That would have been my 82 to 83 year, because I graduated in 83. So I was slow to come to all of this stuff. I'm certainly aware of it going down, and I knew some of the names. I don't think I knew the jam in the 70s, though. But I certainly didn't hear this music. Since I wasn't going to hear it on the radio, somebody was either going to have to turn me on to it by playing it for me, or strongly suggest, that I go pick up the album, which I rarely did, or, you know, like that guy did who sent me a tape, you know. So anyways, sorry I went off on a tangent there. Okay, so that was 78, right? All Mod Cons. Setting Suns, 79. This one, probably not quite as good as All Mod Cons, but still damn good. If we're going to agree, and most people do, that All Mod Cons and Sound Effects are the two best Jam albums, it becomes a matter of what would be the third best. I'm going to go with either In the City or this one. All right. Depending upon the mood. And Setting Suns has more of a conceptual vibe to it, although it didn't end up being the concept album that I think Paul originally saw it as. Okay, again, as always, all songs by Paul Weller except otherwise noted. Girl on the Phone. Oh, my, all this up. Thick as Thieves. Private Hell. Little Boy Soldiers and Wasteland. Maybe not any classic Jam songs on side one, but all good. All those are good songs. Burning, this is side two. Burning Sky. Smithers Jones, the Bruce Foxton number that was already a B-side, I think, by this point. And now I don't remember whether this is the same as Smithers Jones that was on the 45 mix or not. Whether there's a 45 mix and an LP mix. Saturday's Kids is good. Eaton Rifles. And, you know, Heat Wave. Holland Dozier Holland. To show that they're proper mods, you know, they got to do some 60s R&B soul. In that case, a Motown number. All right. So, Setting Suns, a good album. Probably even a great one. Just perhaps not a classic one like All Mod Cons was, or what Sound Effects would be the next year. All right. Okay. Eaton Rifle. I've got all these songs in my head now. Eaton Rifle. All right. This is the fifth album, Sound Effects. All right. Whether this is better than All Mod Cons, that's, you know, that's a matter of opinion, but these are definitely their two best records. Methinks. Scroll on down the song titles here. All right. Oh, just lost it. All right. Pretty Green. Monday. But I'm Different Now. Set the House Ablaze. That's a great one. Start. Boom, boom. That's the same riff, right, as Taxman, the George Harrison Beatles number. That's Entertainment. That's one of their greatest ever songs. That's side one. Side two, Dreamtime, Man of the Corner Shop. Love all these numbers. Music for the Last Couple. That's Rick Buckler, Bruce Foxton, and Paul Weller. All right, so there you go. Boy About Town and Scrape Away. So yeah, I mean, in going all over those song titles, I don't really have a strong feeling that that's a better album than All Mod Cons, but it's probably at least as good. And just because it's sitting right here, in the US, we had a different track listing. We had, ours started off with Start, Pretty Green, Monday, But I'm Different Now, Set the House Ablaze, That's Entertainment, that was side one. Side two is Dreamtime, Man the Corner Shop, Music for the Last Couple, Boy About Town, and Scrape Away. So just a slightly different arrangement there of track listings. All right, so Sound Effects You. All right. Okay. They did not do an album in 1981. In 1982, they released the rather disappointing, but still, you know, somewhat satisfying because it is the Jam, The Gift. Now, The Gift, much like Led Zeppelin's Into the Outdoor, The Gift originally appeared with like this wrapping. You can see the album right there. It had this wrapping on it. And when you took the wrapping off, that's, of course, what the album looks like. When you get it on CD, that's what it looks like. All right? And that's the back of the album cover. Okay? All right. Putting it back together again. All right. Now, I'm going to read you guys the song titles. The Gift, this is 1982. Again, I'll bring this up to you. Dig the New Breed was a live album, which was comprised, it wasn't bad, comprised of stuff recorded all during their career from 77 through 82. That came out by the end of 82. I don't remember if we knew that the Jam had broken up by the end of 82, because I know that Snap came out in 83. That was a good compilation. But if so, Dig the New Breed is posthumous. If not, then, you know, it was just a live Jam album for that time. Okay, so, well, I'll show you this. This was the package that contained the album. Okay, Happy Together, Ghosts, Precious. That was a good one, right? Just Who is the 5 O'Clock Hero was one of their big hits. Trans Global Express, Running on the Spot, which is what they're doing on the actual LP cover. They're running on the spot. Circus, that's a Bruce Foxton number. The Planner's Dream Goes Wrong. Carnation, The Immortal, Town Called Malice. The best song on the album, I think. And The Gift. Okay, so, you know, almost leaning towards what Paul would be getting into in the Style Council shortly thereafter. They had some good albums too. I never thought that they were as good as the Jam though. So that's it for their albums. I now want to show you, because I took the time to buy them, all the singles. I wanted the Jam in their these great songs in their 45 mixes. There's 2 of them, 77 to 79 and 80 to 82. All the 45s with picture sleeves. So why not, folks? All right. There's In the City with Taking My Love, both of which were on the first album. I don't remember, you know, guys, which of the 45 mixes differ from the LP mixes. So I can't help you there. You're gonna have to look that up if you really want to get. Hold on. Now I gotta keep going all the way back because some of these 45s I can't read them that well, so I'd rather just read off the. Okay, so anyways, I got In the City for you. I'd rather read off the computer. Okay, All Around the World and Carnaby Street. All right, was the B-side. All Around the World was not an album, was it? So yeah, this was not on the second LP. All Around the World. Look, it says Direction, Reaction, Creation right there, which is the name of the box set. All right, yeah. All right. Yeah, I loved these songs when I heard them. All right, This Is the Modern World with Sweet Soul Music was the B-side, and Back in My Arms Again, which is another Holland song. Those were recorded live at the 100 Club in 77. So the Jam showing their mod roots again. All right. Okay, this is News of the World with Aunties and Uncles, and the other B-side, Innocent Man, the Bruce Foxton number. News of the World, another great one. They didn't have a bad A-side, and oftentimes their B-sides were brilliant too. News of the World. They had The Modern World, and they had News of the World as their next single. Okay, this is David Watts, the Kinks song from Something Else, right? And then A Bomb in Water Street, which that's a double, right? They're listing that as a double. Yeah, that's a double A side, because that's better than just a B side. All right, so that's one of their truly great 45s. That's what it looked like. Down in the tube station at midnight. Oh, yes. And then, look who's on the back. Keith Moon. What was the flip side? I got to check here because I don't think it says. Oh, of course. So Sad About Us. The Who number from A Quick One. Yeah, that's right. And they did that one pretty well, too. See, that wasn't on an album. All right, so that shows you that they were Who fans. All right, Strange Town. There's a great one. And that wasn't on an album, was it? And The Butterfly Collector is the B-side. All right. God, this brings back memories. See, it's like in my head, it's almost like I remember these songs being released in the 70s, but of course I don't, right? I would have heard these songs in the 80s. But that's how my mind works. I do associate music from when it was released, regardless of whether I was hip to it when it was released. All right. When You're Young, backed with Smithers Jones. You know, the Jam, one of those great bands that never got back together. Paul's a thorny guy, you know. He never felt, I mean, well, that's fine. I mean, in the 80s, he had the Style Council. He had a successful solo career in the 90s, you know. And after all, the Beatles never got back together, right? Eton Rifles with Seesaw as the B-side. Some of these, you know, singles had only one B-side. Some had two. Okay, that does it for the 77 to 79. Those are their classic 70s 45s. Here's 1980 to 1982. All right. You don't have to get these boxes, guys, of 45s. I mean, if you don't need the 45 mixes, then just get the, you know, Direction Reaction Creation box, because it's got all these songs anyway, whether it's the correct mix or not. All right, Going Underground. Don't see what the, oh yeah, Dreams of Children. That's another double A side. Yeah, those are both great songs. Start, which is the Taxman song. What was the ace? Does it even say? Can I read it? Liza Radley. Yeah, that's the B-side. Liza Radley. Okay. That's Entertainment with Down in the Tube Station at Midnight again. That was the B-side. Oh, the live version of Down at the Tube Station at Midnight. There you go. A live version. Yep. Doesn't say where it was recorded. All right. All right. Funeral Pyre. Yep. Let me go back and see what the B-side was of that. This is 81 now. A year that they did not have an album. Disguises. Disguises. That wasn't the Who song, was it? Yes, it was. Well, you know what? I don't remember them doing Disguises. Okay, well, there you go. I don't remember them doing that Who number. But Funeral Pyre is a great song. Absolute Beginners. Let's see what year that was. Yeah, these are Funeral Pyre and Absolute Beginners are non-album singles. Tales from the Riverbank is the B-side. Absolute Beginners is another 1981 number. So they kept releasing great 45s even in the year that they did not release an album. God, I love these guys. You know what? I haven't played the Jam in a while. I'll have to do that right after this show. All right. 82, I believe. Town Called Malice. Yep, February. With Precious. A total double A side there. All right. Some dance grooves for you. Two of the better numbers from the Gift. 82. Okay. Just who is the 5 o'clock hero and the Great Depression? Little jazzy 45 cover for you. Yep. There you go, folks. Paul Weller, Bruce Foxton, Rick Buckler, Keith Thomas on sax, and Steve Nickel on trumpet. They give those other two guys some credit. All right. And the bitterest pill I ever had to swallow. Back with Pity Poor Alfie and Fever. There were 2 B-sides on the bitterest pill 45. Great stuff again. Bitterest Pill is September of 82. So late summer of 82, the Jam are still a working band, still releasing music. And their last official 45, Beat Surrender. And then a lot of, it's Beat Surrender and Shopping on side 1 and side 2. Move On Up, Stoned Out of My Mind, and War. Those are cover versions, right? So this is really like an EP, not just a 45. And Beat Surrender is, it's 83, right? No, November of 82. And it was hit number 1 in the UK singles chart for 2 weeks in December of 82. So you know what? I'm going to say that Dig the New Breed probably was released when they were still a band. I don't know when they announced that they were not going to be the Jam anymore. I guess in 83. I don't know. I do not know. Anyways, folks, there you go. Ooh, 26 minutes. It took a long time to get through those 45s, didn't it? Okay, so, wow, this was longer than my Van Morrison. 27 minutes now. So the Jam, one of the great punk bands, pop punk bands, you know, whatever you want to say. But unlike a lot of UK punk bands who wouldn't be caught dead doing a bunch of cover versions of 1960s hits, the Jam always embraced that. So I rather liked that about these guys. Anyways, love the guys. Hope you do too. Until next time, Matt signing off.